IPID specifically called for disciplinary action to be taken against Major General Khan for his conduct at the scene. I don't know from IPID what was recommended about all DPCI members and seniors. I was interviewed and gave my account of what transpired at the scene, providing a detailed description of the events as I witnessed them. I made sure to emphasize the actions of all involved parties, my concerns about the handling of the scene, and the sequence of instruction issued by the senior officers present. My statement was recorded as part of the ongoing investigation. Point number 28, Commissioner, I think I might be mistaken. I wrote during 2023, I believe it should be during 2024. During 2024, I also became aware of a departmental investigation by Major General Kherpa, Mpumalanga DPCI Provincial Head, who was tasked to investigate Major General Kadwa and other DPCI members, as well as what transpired at the scene. I was told that Major General Kherpa concluded that Generals Khan and Kadwa were doing their job. General Kherpa interviewed me at DPCI head office in Silverton. I did not find this comforting. From information from various sources, allegations are that Major General Khan is known to oversee drug coming from KZN or Beam Party to transactions in relation to them. All these allegations are just hearsay, rumors said by various people, and I never investigated them or made follow-up on them.
Thank you, Witness. You can proceed with the next topic, events in and around the meeting of 29 January 2025.
Before that, let me ask a question on this last part. Do you have any idea whether General Libya ever became aware of these rumors, that there was such talk? And you say it's hearsay, and I'm not placing it higher than that. I just want to know whether this, which was referred to as corridor talk by another witness, whether you ever became aware or have a reason or had a reason ever to think and believe that General Libya has had these rumors as well.
I'm not sure about that, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Witness, you can go to paragraph 30 of your statement.
Thanks. Prior to dealing with the meeting of 29 January 2025, it is important for me to explain who Brown Mogotsi is and my involvement with him. I first met Mr. Mogotsi during 2020 around Rustenburg as a source who gave information about illegal conduct and practices around Northwest.
Witness, just one moment. Commissioners, there is a name in this section. I've already spoken to the witness to refer to that name as a colonel in crime intelligence. Witness, you can continue to paragraph 32.
Before you
29 January.
Witness, before you do that, in that paragraph 31 where you say you know Mr. Mogotsi as a source who gave information about illegal conduct and practices around Northwest, as a source to you.
No, not to me.
Yes? Can you just...
You are said to be a businessman who knows a lot of things and frequently reports irregularities within the Northwest province.
Okay, so you were told that by somebody, that's what he does?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
And did you ever get information of what kind of information, illegal conduct he reports on to Northwest?
No, they said just malpractice within the Northwest province.
You say in 31 that you met him, so you did have a physical meeting with him in 2020?
No, maybe, Commissioner, I should have phrased it in another way. Yes. I saw him in 2020. It's like first time seeing him, it was that day. But I never communicated with him.
Okay. And when you saw him in 2020, what was the context? In what context did you get to see him or to be in the same space with him in 2020?
No, he was someone who was speaking aloud. I think we were at KFC. He's someone who was speaking aloud, and who was it? I think it was Mike. A question. I said, "Who's this guy? He speaks aloud." They said, "No, it's Brown. He's a businessman around here, and he knows a lot of things which are happening here, which are irregular or are wrong."
Okay. All right, thank you.
And witness I, have you ever run any operations with him?
No.
Thank you. You- witness I, you can proceed with paragraph 32.
Okay. On 29 January 2025, I met Mr. Mogotsi and CI member. The meeting was facilitated by Mr. Vusi Matlala through Warrant Officer Faleni Zungu, now Captain. Captain Zungu called me and said there are people who want to consult with you in respect of a matter I'm a witness to involving General Khan. I asked who the people are which he did not disclose and where can I find them. Captain Zungu said they are at U10 Hotel in Santon as we speak and I can find them there.
Witness
I
I,
went to the
witness I, this Captain Zungu is he a member of the DPCI?
Then he was a member of DPCI, but now he moved.
Okay, thank you.
Witness I, before you step off that paragraph, you say that Captain Zungu gave you the call. What facilitative role did Mr. Matlala play?
I don't know. He just informed me he was phoned by his source that there are people who wants to see me.
Oh, so Captain Zungu was telling you that he heard from Mr. Matlala that people want to see you.
Yes.
Right, thank you. You can continue.
I went to the meeting venue with Warrant Officer Matlaba, who works under me at Tom's. And taking Warrant Officer Matlaba with me was in respect of assistant with state vehicle, as I was not in possession of any state vehicle, and he was. But Warrant Officer Matlaba stayed in the car when we got to the hotel. At the meeting in the hotel, I was directed to go by the couches next to the reception of hotel. I was surprised to find it was Mr. Brown Mogotsi and CI member. I also know the CI member as we worked together at the DSO Scorpion before it was disbanded. I immediately suspected something sinister to come out of this meeting. I learned later that the meeting was recorded. I decided to play along. The CI members said they needed to fix things, meaning me making a statement clearing Major General Khan at the disciplinary hearing in respect of the drug bust at Eraten. I refused and told him I couldn't change my statement as that will amount to perjury and I could be charged on that. I asked why I should do that and for what purpose. The CI guy said that I will get a bag and they will facilitate for me to get a promotion at work if I help Major General Khan. I explained that I will fight for my promotion as I already did by lodging a grievance for promotional post for which I had already been interviewed. I then informed them that they should bring the bag as suggested as a means of entrapping them. My intention in suggesting that they bring the bag was to see if they will go ahead with the bribery, then I will arrest them. As I departed, I explained everything to Warrant Officer Matlaba in the car and said I will await the next contact for a meeting, then we'll use Tom's office for bust on bribery. The above was never reported as it will get to ears of the targeted people and reporting will have been done after arrest to evade blocking or obstruction from seniors. They never brought the bag and never had any further discussion about the bag. I have never gone to KZN regarding the General Khan's matter. I have also never met Major General Khan as I never liked him since the Araten scene.
Thank you, witness. I can continue.
Can I just ask a clarity question? Witness I, at paragraph 57 of your statement, where you speak about Mr. Mogotsi, you say you briefed him of the case and corruption in his province, but I'm more interested in the case. Why would you brief him on this case in particular? You don't give a context. There's no history of your ever discussing, at least in your statement, of you discussing this case with him or any involvement of his in this case. So, and absent that kind of context, it's a statement that appears suddenly that you briefed him. Why would you do that?
Commissioner, when I met him with the CI member 29 January, he asked me about the case. He said, "Are you the one who was working on the scene of Sun City?" I said, "Yes."
And then after that, did you talk to him about this case? This is a case, just hold on. This is a case in 2024. And then when you meet him in January, he asks you about it.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah. And apart from this asking and you answering him, was there any other interaction about this case? When he testified, as I recall, I think he relied on photographs, on what he said were photographs of the scene with some people lying on the ground and I think some weapons on the ground. And that was for him to show us that he was involved in that operation. Where would he have gotten that?
I'm not sure if when I briefed him, I showed him the picture or what.
Okay, so that it's possible. You think you would have had to share them with him for him to produce them at the commission. You think you might have done that? You may have shared that with him.
I think I might have done that, Commissioner.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
What would have been your reason to brief Mr. Mogotsi about the case and the corruption in his province?
No, he asked about the case. He said, was it another Maluleke who was leading the team or it was yourself on the set day?
Okay, let me just check this with you. I may have my facts wrong. Is this the same case that involved an alleged Zamazama kingpin who was wanted by the police?
No, this one, it involves a person who's taking mining rights from lawful owners of the mining rights.
But he's not a Zamazama kingpin.
Commissioner, I don't know if you label as a Zamazama kingpin.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you because you are the one who says you briefed Mogotsi about this case. So if you say to me this case has nothing to do with a Zamazama kingpin, I will leave it at that. So it's not about you labeling the person or not.
Okay, Commissioner.
So can you just clarify that for me? Does it or does it not involve an alleged Zamazama kingpin?
We could label it either way, Commissioner, because the person takes away mining rights from lawful owners and mines on those mines. So the person will be behaving like a Zamazama because the plans where will it be mining does not belong to him, is the one which she hijacked or took by force.
Yeah. And then lastly, this may seem insignificant to you, but we are looking at the bigger picture and trying to make sense and connecting the dots of all the things. Because at a certain point, Mr. Mogotsi had a discussion with Minister Mkuno about whether a person has been arrested or not and whether an arrest has been made. And when this commission asked him who he was referring to, and it was around the same time, December, January 2025, he said the discussion was about an alleged kingpin in the Northwest. So that's why I'm trying to understand if this is the same person and you are the one who briefed Mr. Mogotsi about this case.
No, Commissioner, our operation, the arrest was in September 2024. Maybe he was referring to another matter, not ours.
So with this one, the arrest was in September 2024?
Yes, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Khumalo, just on that, the arrest in this instance was of the hitman, and the arrest that Mr. Mogotsi was referring to was when the Zamazama kingpin himself was actually arrested, and that was in December, Jan.
That's exactly the question I'm asking.
Yes, no, just to clarify that
I
there
was
are two
not asking
different.
about the hitman. I specifically asked about the alleged Zama kingpin. But if this witness cannot assist, then I will leave it there.
During January 2025, I was phoned by
Sorry,
Major General.
so please read the headings as well.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner. Major General Khan disciplinary hearing. During January 2025, I was phoned by Major General Kumalo, District Commissioner of KZN, informing me that I will be receiving a subpoena to come lead evidence on a disciplinary matter against General Khan on what happened at Ayrton scene, and that General Kumalo will be employer representative and General Mukwanazi will be chairperson of the hearing. I consulted with General Kumalo at task force offices in Pretoria West in preparation for the hearing as a witness on the case. All members.
Witness I, the General Kumalo here, it is still Major General Kumalo, not
Yeah, the
Lieutenant.
district. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All members who were witnesses led evidence from 17 February 2025 to 21st February 2025 as planned and arranged with General Kumalo. Statements made which depict what transpired on the said day were used as evidence in the disciplinary hearing. Around end of February 2025, I found out that Lieutenant General Mukwanazi had acquitted Major General Khan for reasons unclear to me. Why I say unclear to me is the fact that acquittal verdict, General Mukwanazi said witnesses were not clear and contradicted each other. He also noted that the evidence was not sufficient. Shall I go to the next topic?
Yes, please.
The title is My Knowledge of Mr. Vusiket Matlala. I know Mr. Vusi Matlala as he was an informer that assisted Toms with tip-offs regarding several successful operations. The tip-offs came through Captain Faleni Zungu, who worked at Toms, resulted in the permanent arrest of mostly wanted, feared and dangerous suspects, Skumbuzo Dlamini and James Nkwana, aka John Wick. I didn't know cases against Vusi Matlala when Captain Zungu was dealing with him as an informer, except later what was on the news and social media. The only thing which was known to me was that Kurt is a businessman having several companies. I've heard of the allegations that Mr. Vusi Matlala is using subs to eliminate his opposition. This is unknown to me as I never had an operation or been involved in an operation where Toms was used by any individual. The first time I met Mr. Vusi Matlala was when Brigadier Mukwena was trying to extort him, Mr. Vusi Matlala, using me and Captain Zungu. After the John Wick scene, Brigadier Mukwena claimed the scene was a hit. He asked me and Captain Zungu to call Kurt and we met at Colbane Golf Shooting Range. Brigadier Mukwena said he had a source or a complainant from General Libya's office which had evidence to the fact that the John Wick scene was a hit, and Brigadier Mukwena wanted to consult with Mr. Matlala to see how he can fix this. By fixing it meant that Mr. Matlala pays something so Brigadier Mukwena can give to the source in order to keep the source quiet. Mr. Vusi Matlala was surprised.
Witness, just
Yes?
before you move from that, when you say after the John Wick scene, in the previous paragraph you said John Wick was one of the feared and dangerous suspects that was permanently arrested. So is the John Wick scene that arrest, or is it something else? Because you say the scene was a hit.
Yes.
So what is the John Wick scene? The arrest, or is it something else?
The permanent arrest, yes.
All right.
Do you describe a arrest as a hit? Because you say in that paragraph 43 that the scene was a hit. Is an arrest a hit?
No, the suspect on that scene were fatally wounded, Commissioner.
So where you say the scene was a hit, you mean where John Wick, a scene where John Wick was fatally shot or wounded?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pai.
You can continue, witness I.
Uh,
Paragraph 44.
Paragraph. Yes.
44.
Mr. Vusimatlela was present in everything alleged by Brigadier Mokoena and said investigation can continue and the perpetrators be arrested. At the meeting, I asked Brigadier Mokoena if we could have a meeting with the source and get more details and facts. Brigadier Mokoena refused the request. He said, I cannot consult with the source as it is a high-profile matter of top secret dealt with between him, National Head General Libya, and source. I noted that this is a non-existent, as by then Brigadier Mokoena did not have top secret clearance and observed me and Zungu are just being used in an attempt to extort money from Mr. Matlala.
Witness I, before you move on to the next topic, when you say that you and Zungu are being used, in what sense? Is it just to introduce Brigadier Mokoena to Mr. Matlala, or was there more to it?
No, personally, because at the end I noted that this thing of a source or complainant is non-existent. So that's why I say we were just being used.
Okay. Thank you, witness I. You can move on to the next topic where you deal with the Sun City case.
Okay, title it's Sun City, case 41 of 9/2024. I have also been asked to speak about case number Sun City 41 of 9/2024. This case stems from what happened at Sun City in Northwest, leading to Rustenburg SAPS Sun City case 41 of 9/2025 and Tom's inquiry 7 of 9/2024. The complainants are known to the Commission. This relates to the interference and involvement of Lieutenant General Mboto. On 6 August 2024, Tom's unit arrested 17 suspects and seized 32 firearms. The suspects were booked at Sun City Police Station, and Lieutenant Colonel Khekwane, then he was a captain, approached my team informing me he is there to take over the case as it fell within DPCI Northwest jurisdiction and mandate. I agreed as I was the one who made calls requesting members of DPCI Northwest to take over the docket. Before a docket was opened, Toms went there and operated on Tom's inquiry 7 of 9/2024 on allegations of possessions of illegal firearms. Lieutenant Colonel Khekwane informed me he is there as per instruction of Lieutenant General Mboto. At the time, he was Major General Mboto, was the provincial head of Northwest of DPCI. Due to lack of space at Sun City Police Station, the suspects were detained at Rustenburg Police Station. We arrived at Rustenburg SAPS after 1800 hours on 6 August 2024. Lieutenant Colonel Khekwane requested me to answer a call he was busy with his mobile number. As I was taking the phone from Lieutenant Colonel Khekwane, Lieutenant Colonel Khekwane informed me beforehand that he was speaking with General Mboto and that the general wanted to speak with me. During the conversation I had with General Mboto, he asked me why Toms arrested security guards with registered firearms as he was told by Colonel Khekwane. I informed General Mboto that it was a lie as the security which was found at the scene was tight security whose members were wearing black security uniform. I informed him that the Toms team checked the firearms they had and confirmed that they had registered permits for all firearms in their possession. The 17 suspects arrested were in civilian clothing and there were no registered permits and licenses to possess firearms for all 32 firearms seized. General Mboto was insisting firearms belonged to security company and are legal. That was his final stand on the phone. Lieutenant Colonel Gekwane was with Toms for the night at Rustenburg SAPS, insisting that the arrested people were security and the firearms seized had permits. Information availed to Toms from sources was that the arrested suspects were hitmen or inkabi, hired and working for Ms. Mpopo. Lieutenant Colonel Gekwane was on his cell phone for most of the night with General Mboto. The Toms team processed the suspects and detained them and booked all 32 firearms in the SAP-13. After midnight on 7 August 2024, I received a call from my section head, Brigadier Smith, who informed me that the national head, Lieutenant General Libya, was trying to call me and I was not answering his calls. Brigadier Smith asked me to call back the national head. After 0100, I saw a missed call from the national head and went to the car to call him back. General Libya wanted to know the basis upon which Toms arrested the 17 suspects and seized 32 firearms. I explained, and General Libya informed me that the firearms registry works 24 hours, and I can contact them and check the 32 firearms seized if they are registered, and if so, we can hand them back. I objected to the suggestion of General Libya, explaining that arrest is not only on legitimacy of firearms, but on fact that the suspects allegedly fired shots at innocent members of the public on the mine plant 2 days back, on Wednesday, the 4th of August 2024. I therefore wanted all 32 firearms to be sent to ballistics to be assessed and checked to identify firearms that shot on the said day. General Libya acknowledged my explanation and said that he will not interfere with my work and that I should do as planned with my Toms team. Later in the same morning, Brigadier Smith phoned me and informed me that General Mboto said that the whole team of Toms that operated on the scene must go back to the police station and make statements, as the statements made when opening the case might be incomplete and the case may not be placed on the court roll on Monday, the 9th of September 2024, which was incorrect, as request that we go back and make statement was to display a sense that suspects were innocent. I informed all members of Toms that were present on scene that we go back and meet at Rustenburg SAPS again to provide statements. The same day, after 1300 hours on arrival at Rustenburg SAPS, Toms team found and communicated with Colonel Gekwane as instructed. Colonel Gekwane wanted to lead Toms members on what to write and say in their statements, which Colonel Gekwane insisted was as per the instruction of General Mboto. I refused and instructed members to write what really transpired, and I also wrote a statement attached here as to. The Toms team left Rustenburg SAPS expecting the 17 suspects to appear in court on 9 August 2024, and also that the 32 firearms seized will be sent to ballistic for testing as normal procedure and protocol. I learned after a few days that nothing is expected to happen to the arrested suspect and seized exhibits. It is alleged that the suspects never went to court but were released for unknown reasons, and all firearms seized were returned back to the suspects. Attached S3, its success report written at Tom's office with all details of suspects and firearms seized. My conclusion and suspicion on the above matter are corrupt activities by SAPS senior members with a suspected individual named Ms. Mpopowe, who is alleged to use threats and violence against innocent members of the public for mining rights. After the scene at Sun City, there were rumors and allegations made on the streets that Brigadier Mokoena is collecting protection fee from Ms. Mpopo every month, suspected to be for him and General Mbot. This can be further corroborated by the fact that General Mboto, after his appointment as Divisional Commissioner of DPCI, visited the Tom's office to introduce himself and meet the team, but started making threats to the unit during the introduction. He insisted that all members must inform him of every work-related movement and that no member should conduct work outside Gauteng without his knowledge and approval. He also mentioned that members need to explain themselves what operations, why and where. The whole time he was at office, he was threatening members and promising to deal with them. He also indicated that he does not want like the Tom's unit and that he intends talking to the national head that Tom's falls under General Flynn because he does not want Tom's near him. All allegations above were never investigated further by any member from Tom's and don't know if DPCI Northwest also investigated the allegations. Brown Mogotsi alleged he participated in this operation at Sun City, which he was not. I only briefed him of the case and corruption in his province.
Thank you, Witness I. In relation to this case, did you ever report it to anyone?
Yeah, after a year, I reported the matter to IPID. And I reported the matter to IPID, and nothing was done by IPID in the sense that when I asked status, they said the same docket is still under investigation and there's nothing they could do. Around 2025, I wrote an email to Ian Cameron, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Police in Parliament, about that and conduct of General Mbot.
And in relation to the IPID report, do you know who the investigating officer was in that regard?
It was Tagalani Maposh.
And then in relation to Mr. Ian Cameron, did you ever get a response?
There were, I believe, 2 or 3 conversations, because the initial email, as I requested Mr. Ian Cameron to have a meeting with me, and he responded in relation to what I said. I will explain everything when we meet in person, not through email. He said, no, he can't secure an appointment with me if I don't give him a title of what we are going to discuss. I explained that it's in relation to conduct of General Mboto and Brigadier Mokoena. Ever since I gave him the title, he never came back to me to date.
All right. And then, Witness I, just to go back to paragraph 52, I just have one clarity question there, where you talk about the call you received from Brigadier Smith informing you that General Mbot wanted you to go back to the scene to make statements as the statements were incomplete. In your words, you say, later in the morning, Brigadier Smith phoned me and informed me that General Mbot said that the whole team of Toms that operated on the scene must go back to the police station and make statements, as the statements made when opening the case might be incomplete and the case may not be placed on the roll on Monday, and you give the date. Then you say in brackets, which was incorrect, as request that we go back and make statement was to display a sense that suspects were innocent. What do you mean? Are you trying to convey to us that they were trying to get you to change those statements, indicating that the people arrested were innocent?
Yes, Commissioner, because when we got back, Colonel Gekwane said he wanted to instruct my members on what to put on the statements, which I refused to.
And what did he want you to put on the statements?
No, we never got to details of what he wanted, because immediately he said, on statements you need to indicate. I said, no, you can't be instructing members on what to write, because they were on the scene, they know what really transpired, they'll write everything that transpired on the scene. you need not to guide them. That's what I said.
All right, thank you. And then at paragraph 48, where you talk about the call that you received from General Mboto, you indicated that he was insisting that the firearms belong to security company and that they're legal. Was he asking you to do something, or was he just telling you that that was his view?
He was telling me that was his view, but in giving me his view, I sensed that maybe he wanted us to release the suspects with the firearms.
All right. Thank you. Those are the clarity-seeking questions on my side, Commissioners.
Can I just ask a clarity question? Witness I, at paragraph 57 of your statement, where you speak about Mr. Mogotsi, you say you briefed him of the case and corruption in his province, but I'm more interested in the case. Why would you brief him on this case in particular? You don't give a context. There's no history of your ever discussing, at least in your statement, of you discussing this case with him or any involvement of his in this case. So, and absent that kind of context, it's a statement that appears suddenly that you briefed him. Why would you do that?
Commissioner, when I met him with the CI member 29 January, he asked me about the case. He said, "Are you the one who was working on the scene of Sun City?" I said, "Yes."
And then after that, did you talk to him about this case? This is a case, just hold on. This is a case in 2024. And then when you meet him in January, he asks you about it.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah. And apart from this asking and you answering him, was there any other interaction about this case? When he testified, as I recall, I think he relied on photographs, on what he said were photographs of the scene with some people lying on the ground and I think some weapons on the ground. And that was for him to show us that he was involved in that operation. Where would he have gotten that?
I'm not sure if when I briefed him, I showed him the picture or what.
Okay, so that it's possible. You think you would have had to share them with him for him to produce them at the commission. You think you might have done that? You may have shared that with him.
I think I might have done that, Commissioner.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
What would have been your reason to brief Mr. Mogotsi about the case and the corruption in his province?
No, he asked about the case. He said, was it another Maluleke who was leading the team or it was yourself on Thursday?
Okay, let me just check this with you. I may have my facts wrong. Is this the same case that involved an alleged Zamazama kingpin who was wanted by the police?
No, this one, it involves a person who's taking mining rights from lawful owners of the mining rights.
But he's not a Zamazama kingpin.
Commissioner, I don't know if you label as a Zamazama kingpin.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you because you are the one who says you briefed Mogotsi about this case. So if you say to me this case has nothing to do with a Zamazama kingpin, I will leave it at that. So it's not about you labeling the person or not.
Okay, Commissioner.
So can you just clarify that for me? Does it or does it not involve an alleged Zamazama kingpin?
We could label it either way, Commissioner, because the person takes away mining rights from lawful owners and mines on those mines. So the person will be behaving like a Zamazama because the plants where will it be mining does not belong to him, is the one which she hijacked or took by force.
Yeah. And then lastly, this may seem insignificant to you, but we are looking at the bigger picture and trying to make sense and connecting the dots of all the things. Because at a certain point, Mr. Mogotsi had a discussion with Minister Mkunu about whether a person has been arrested or not and whether an arrest has been made. And when this commission asked him who he was referring to, and it was around the same time, December, January 2025, he said the discussion was about an alleged kingpin in the Northwest. So that's why I'm trying to understand if this is the same person and you are the one who briefed Mr. Mogotsi about this case.
No, Commissioner, our operation, the arrest was in September 2024. Maybe he was referring to another matter, not ours.
So with this one, the arrest was in September 2024.
Yes, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Khumalo, just on that, the arrest in this instance was of the hitman, and the arrest that Mr. Mogotsi was referring to was when the Zamazama kingpin himself was actually arrested, and that was in December, Jan.
That's exactly the question I'm asking.
Yes. No, just to clarify that.
I was
they are
not
two
asking
different-
about the hitman. I specifically asked about the alleged Zamazama kingpin. But if this witness cannot assist, then I will leave it there.